Welcome to the Buylist. This is episode 9.
This is not financial advice. This is cardboard. Let's dive into it, Ted. What are we talking about today?
Hey, Nate. So today we're going to be talking about legendaries, doing some deep dives into what's going on with a couple select legendaries. We've been talking about Majestics for the last couple weeks. I think it's time to go back. I think we're revisiting one of them and then some new ones on the scene. So let's jump into it, Nate. First one here. This is one that I picked. The Crown of Seeds. So this and I think Nate, we've been looking at this for a couple weeks now. We kind of mentioned it off and on, kind of haven't brought it up on the pod, I don't think previously. But I mean the rainbow foil sitting at $55, right? And we saw Oldham a mirror match at the Battle Harden this weekend. Right, so I'm a little confused on why this is $55 and the cold foil is $75, which is super interesting to me. I think I would mark this as a buy, right?
Yeah, as it turns out, if anyone who is new to Flesh and Blood or like doesn't pay attention, Oldhim good,
Yeah, always good, no
always
matter.
good. Yeah, he is eternity
Yeah,
good. Um, in not only that, but like it's an Earth card. It doesn't say Guardian on it. It says
hmm
Earth, which means Briar can run it. And some Briars do sideboard it too. I know that there's been a lot of Briars that sideboard it for like Icelander. And even in PT Lil, I played a Briar that used it into me when I was playing Oldhim. So
yeah. I've actually ran this card in a Briar deck at last Artean season for Icelander, and it kind of it did help, and I think it's serviceable in that deck. I think I think in the last episode I had mentioned it, and I was kind of thinking about it. Right, these Earth cards, like you said, it's just Earth. I fully expect not anytime soon, maybe a year out, that Tales of Aria Elemental heroes will get their own supplemental set to boost them up and move that old product, right? And
yep.
it's good for the game. I think Dawn Till Dusk Till Dawn will be a huge success. I don't think we've seen this kind of hype for a set
Yeah.
ever, right? Like this is crazy.
Dude, everyone. I mean, maybe it's just us being high on our own
Right.
supply because we are hyped as hell for Dust Till Dawn. Not gonna put any pressure on LSS, but if we get a spoiler, we would do something dope for it. Um, so J Dubs, hook us up.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so in one of actually James White's recent interviews, he mentioned that there will be an all arcane set coming, and this
Wow.
is Nate's rampant speculation corner time. So my theory, we go back to Arya,
Mm.
and we have all elemental wizards just finger blasting each other with earth, lightning, ice,
Phrasing, Nate.
fire.
Phrasing. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. My bad.
Yeah. But no,
Um,
that would be super cool. I think, we see how this is going, right?
yeah,
It's almost a guarantee that they'll come back to these heroes. This card will always be good. It fundamentally breaks one of the mechanics of the game, right? It lets you put a card and lets you stack very easily, right? And that's
yeah,
just super powerful, man. Like any kind of hero, any kind of slow, like mid-range, obviously Oldham is like can be a blockout deck. It's perfect for it. It's a very strong card. So at $55, I mean, I think, it's not, I don't think it's going to go much lower than this. So it's definitely a buy for me.
oh yeah, easy buy.
Yep. All right, let's jump over to our second one here. A little bit newer card. This one came out in Dynasty. This Invoke Suraya, the Light Illusionist invocation / ally. Is she an ally in the flip side? I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So Yeah, this one is another buy. I picked this one out. $29 for the rainbow foil, $79 for the cold foil. Yeah, cold foil is getting a little blingy, right? You only need one for your deck if you really want to shuffle in the cold foil, but you know, as you had mentioned, we are hyping Dust Till Dawn quite a bit here, always trying to find that next set. I mean, it's how it's going to be every set, right? We're going to be talking about what's going to be popular. Yeah, I think at $29 you pick this up right away. Because if you have any interest in Light Illusionist, this will be in your deck. This card is incredibly strong.
Well, I think to your point too, like yes, we're talking about cards looking forward to Dust Till Dawn, but like you can't make like a good pickup now on cards that are relevant in this meta because the cards have
Mhm.
already
Yeah, yeah.
changed price. So like the advice we're trying to give and not advice at all, not financial advice,
Yeah,
but the guidance and like the points that we're trying to hammer home are like these are things to think about for kind of future proofing your collection.
yeah,
Um, so you don't get hosed when you see a buyout. And like you get to see like this will be interesting when we look back after Dust Till Dawn and we learn the new set too. Like you can
hmm
see Soraya did get hit with a buyout right when Dust Till
hmm
Dawn got hit. Well,
yeah,
or got dropped. And it wasn't really a
yeah,
buyout. It was just like everyone flooding to go grab their copies.
hmm
Um, and now you can even see like the slow and subtle retracement back down, and you're
hmm
starting to see a little bit of a peak back up here at the end of the graph. But um, like I this card is just going to be a staple on Illusionist.
hmm
It's an auto include.
Yep,
Easy.
yep,
In
for
it,
sure.
Prism LL format, like
Oh yeah.
get out of here. And let's be real. If you like, let's say you don't want to spend $500 on the Marvel, you aren't even an illusionist stand unless you have a cold foil to in your deck and on the side so you don't have to take it out of the sleeve. Because if you take it out of the sleeve, you basically, like Ted said last week, you're a peasant.
Yeah, I
Um,
did not say that, but just for the record, go back and watch that episode. And yeah, no,
yes. All right, fine, 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 fine. Not a peasant.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just like chilling. Like, this graph doesn't move. It hasn't even moved that much, right? Like you said, looks like there was some action on it beginning of March. That's right when that article broke, and it's kind of pulled back. But you get it now, right? Because I could see this being a $50-$60 um, card, right, when it's being played.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's jump over to the third one here. So, Nate, you kind of wanted to take a look at this legendary here, the Mask of
Yeah.
Momentum.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about this, and I wanted to swap it out for our other card because I had another card in mind, and you were like, "We should definitely do this one."
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm all about taking victory laps. So Ted always reminding me to take my victory laps.
hmm
Um, I mean, and we talked about this when it spiked.
Yep.
Let's don't buy this.
hmm
And we're right, and you can see on the graph we are almost right back down to where we were pre-buyout.
Yep.
Um, and it pushed up to nearly $200.
Right.
Everyone lost their mind. They're like, Flesh and Blood is too expensive. But every time a card does this, and you see these big spikes, you're going to see a rubber band effect where these cards come back down to reality
Yeah.
because little Timmy, who was like, I don't want to sell my Mask of Momentum because it's $90 and I like Ninja, even though I only play him every 5 months. And then I forget my Katsu trigger and I'm bad at the game and I stop playing him. Um, when it hits $200, they're going to break it out and be like, I'm actually bad at Katsu. I'm going to go sell this card now.
Yeah.
So, like, we're going to see this. But the one thing I did want to highlight is Ted may or may not have brought up some factual data where we might be heading to Mysteria in the future.
hmm
It's a given that we will in the future.
Yeah.
When? No clue.
Yeah.
Um, but we only have two ninjas in the game, so it's likely that we'll continue to see some ninja support um, to push them along, and maybe some more ninjas will join.
Yeah.
And
Ninja's gonna be a staple, Nate. Like it's gonna
yeah,
be there's always going to be ninjas in this game. They're going to push them out, right? It might cool off here, a little bit because we just got Fi. But I mean, Rune Blades were like 3 in a row, right? So don't be surprised if we see some more ninjas in the next sets or two. If it is Mysteria, you're definitely going to get a ninja in that set. It's a core class, right? So, and I think, like Nate, you'd mentioned, we do see this retrace back. And we've talked about it on this pod as well, is that especially with the print and run numbers discussions that we did last week. This black border product, we're not there yet, right? These will
Mhm.
retrace. I think the population's large enough on these unlimited cards. We saw the print run of WTR. They're out there, right? So it's not going to just stick at 200, 250. I mean, at some point in the future, it will, right? These black border cards will become very scarce. I
Mhm.
think there'll be a certain amount out there. So yeah, but we're not there yet. So I think at like $87, I think I bought my mask like over a year and a half ago at like 85, right?
Mhm.
For one of these first set rainbow foils, I that's kind of where I put my bogey, is like, depending on the card, this one's super powerful. It's needed for ninja. I rate, or I put their value in my mind at like $90, right? 75 to 90,
Yeah.
sometimes 100, somewhere in there. That's kind of where I set it. So I think, 87's pretty fair value for this card.
Yeah, I think that you'll never see it lower than this.
Yeah.
It the interesting part about us now knowing the print run of unlimited WTR is we can actually pretty closely extrapolate how many of these rainbow foils exist, right?
Hmm.
So there's 200 248,000 boxes, there's 62,000 cases, which means roughly 12 to $13,000 or 12 to 13,000 mask momentums exist in
Right.
rainbow foil.
Yeah. When you divide it out by the 5 legendaries in the set, right?
Yep.
5 or
So
6. Yeah.
yeah, so there's 5 in the set. Um, so if at any point Fi or Katsu become the best deck again, this card's
Yeah.
gonna pop off
Yeah.
because there's definitely more than 10,000 players playing Flesh and Blood at this point.
Yep. Yeah, and this, like, I think I had mentioned already, but this, just like Crown of Seeds, the effect on this card is really strong. Forcing a block every turn almost is, um, man, it's like a staple, right? It's like a
Yeah.
ninja staple. It's how ninjas work. Fi
Mhm.
used it very well, and Katsu did as well. So I would
Yeah.
expect every ninja would be using this as well.
It's definitely something they're gonna be
Or it's
looking
going to
at.
be sideboarded. Fi
Yep.
doesn't use it 100% of the time, but it's definitely going to be in the deck, either in the
Yeah.
sideboard or in play, depending on the hero that you're facing, for sure.
100%.
Okay, let's jump off to to our last one here, our last deep dive. So this one, newest card, right? So Vambrace of Determination.
Yeah. So Vambrace, I think the thing that I really wanted to highlight the most on this is the cold foil pricing. Um, and before we were kind of talking is like, I don't think this card is getting enough respect,
Mm-hmm.
especially with Dust Till Dawn coming. We know we're going to get a Light Illusionist. Light Illusionists use a ward mechanic. This card literally says pay one, deal one, which can help them destroy additional wards that they need to stop them from, like, looking at like Tome of Ao. Like, if you can just push that one extra damage to pop the Tome of Ao, which lets them not
Mm-hmm.
draw a card, that's incredibly powerful. Um, and something that I think that the market is still failing to accommodate for, and we're still seeing it a lot, even still in outsiders, is pull rates of cold foils in 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
We've already seen it in Outsiders with the Majestic Weapons, where on release weekend, you were picking up the cold foil Majestic Weapons for $30,
Yeah.
$35. Some of those cold foil Majestic Weapons are now $150.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking at the offhand weapons, because their pull rates are so low, the cold foil legendaries are extremely hard to pull.
Yeah. For sure. Yep. You can definitely tell. in the last streaming, breaking on Tuesdays, breaking boxes, right? I think I pulled one so far,
Mhm.
which is super rare. And drafts and stuff don't really I've seen one pulled. So yeah, Nate, I mean we have the data too, right? They're pretty rare. I think, well, what is it? 1 in 45 ish. No, I might be wrong there, but they are really hard to pull. And at
Yeah.
$99, if you want to bling it out, I think that that's maybe not a bad spot. But if you're looking just to get into the game, right, $35 is great. You see here on the drop, right? Obviously, prices were crazy. I didn't even
Yep.
I didn't even try to adjust the graph because it would skew the rest of the graph, right, and make it look lower than it actually is. Um, but it's very stable, right? I think that a lot of these, other than the mask, right, you see spike up, do that buyout, you see pretty stable. Or they're sitting stable right now. So I think it's not a bad time to buy, right? You're not buying too high or anything like
Yeah.
that on these, and that counts for these as well. Generic equipment's always going to be something to
Yep.
keep an eye on. Crown of Dominion, Crown of Providence. Obviously, we know how Crown of Providence is working these days. Tunic,
Yeah.
like, not saying that Vambraces is like in that league of power, but they're in a league that where every hero could use it, right?
Yeah, I would say, like, it's in between Crown of Dominion and Crown of Providence,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, we saw both of those be underpriced for several months
Yep.
post-release. Because I opened a lot of Rainbow Foil Crown of Providences in my uprising, and I sold, I think, the bulk of them for 120 for the Rainbow
Yeah.
Foil.
I bought
Um,
my cold foil for 130.
yeah, I think I bought mine for, like, 145.
Yeah.
Um,
I was like, that's too cheap.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you couldn't even sniff one for under 250 now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Gonna get close to it. Yep.
yeah, so I think that we'll see Vambrace. I think this is one. Also, how is this in Rainbow Foil cheaper than Redback Shroud? Like,
Or
yes,
trench.
the Trench is terrible. Don't even. Redback Shroud's literally unplayable. The only thing it has going for it is tits, and that's it. It's $10 more expensive than this card,
Yeah.
and it's unplayable. This card is playable in literally every hero.
Yeah. 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 It's a pretty apt, uh, it is weird to me, right? I don't think we've talked about trench or redback, but locally I've been like, guys, just like, if you can wait, like, if you just are you dying to play Riptide, then yeah, grab your trench. But I've kind of been looking for that Rainbow Foil trench to kind of dive, and I'm surprised it's not. Maybe it's got some of that Ranger juju, like New Horizon, just never, just can't ever go down for some reason.
But the quiver is 20. Like, I don't this
I
market
don't
is
know.
legitimately drunk. Y'all are drunk. You need to go home
There's
and
some weirdness.
reevaluate your life decisions because, like, the price points of some cards make 0 sense in
Yeah.
comparison to others.
At the moment, yeah, I think we'll start to see it flesh out a little bit for sure. But
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, that's all we wanted to go through tonight or today on the on the deep dive. Let's jump back here. One last thing I want to say again, it's a legendary podcast tonight, or themed, is that when I was looking through them, obviously Keen Nate, you can probably guess this, but I looked at my favorite class first and was like, what's going on with those? I don't have any graphics for it, but Spellbound Creepers, Grasp, Husk, all at the moment. Husk and Spellbound Creepers is at like 140. Husk is at like 160. Folks, chill on those for a bit. I know that we're like trying to hype Dust Till Dawn here, but my recommendation would be chill a little bit on that. I think those are just a little too high right now. They're going to be in demand, but I think as we get closer, more Monarch will be cracked and more tails will be cracked to find those. You could probably find a little bit better deal. Grass sitting at 100. That one's a little bit more of like a, that's getting close to where I think it's okay. Like I said, I kind of value those around 100, and that's where it's sitting right now. So maybe if you're dying to have one right now, grab it. But you might be able to find it a little bit cheaper, but not much. The other two though, ugh, 160 for the husk and is like seems a little high for the rainbow foil to be honest at this point. I'd be looking towards like, in the, after everything settles, I would be looking, 130-ish maybe if it's like usable with the new hero and which I think it will be, but anyways. And
Yeah,
then Nate, I think you wanted to I mean, is there any other legendaries that you saw quickly
I
that
mean,
parting shot, I guess?
yeah, I mean, we all know that we're going to the Savage Lands, baby. So like Scabies.
Yeah.
That card's irreplaceable in Brute. We know that we're gonna get Leviathan support in Dust Till Dawn, and then we're going to the Savage Lands because James White loves me. So that card's like it's $60.
Yeah.
There's
I think
12,000 of them in existence. Not even because like all of the product would have to be even open for that many to be in
yeah.
existence. There might be 10. And
Yeah.
like, I'm
60
sorry.
60 to $65 is not a bad grab for that card at all.
No.
It's like a core mechanic around the hero, right? You're kind of, you see lots of cards and things that make you roll dice with brutes. So that card will stick around. Yeah, that's a definitely good one to point out. At $60, yeah, that's definitely a buy if you don't have them and you're looking at brute at all.
For sure.
And then yeah, so that's good. Buy list this week. My buy list is Marvel Blood Rot. Still kind of eyeing those. They've come down quite a bit. I think, the playability of the card is, even is kind of overcoming the rarity of the card. Currently I have a play set of inertia and one frailty. Dude, I don't know about getting those other two frailties. that's that's a little rich for my blood at this
Mhm.
point. But yeah, I was looking at those, and then yeah, I think just pretty much that, and then an EA trench, which I got a line on finally. Holy smokes, Nate! It took me like 2 to 3 weeks to find that trench. I want the EA trench, even though I just dogged it playability, but I want that EA trench just for the collectability of it.
Y'all should see my DMs of Ted trying to find a EA trench that doesn't look like someone got drunk at freaking Carta Monday and then centered it with their left toe because
it's
it it's
dude.
so hard.
Dude, it's hard to even find like not to keep ranting here, but it's hard to find that card in general. It's kind of crazy. Like you can normally find that card, and I think the shroud it seems a little bit more popular. Like I see for sale post for it, but the
Mhm.
trench is so hard to find, man. It's kind of nuts. Like I think people are just holding on to them with with their like just a fist like grabbing it and not letting it go. It's crazy. But I think I found one. I think I got one. So
Yeah, buddy. So my buy list this week, I'm looking back at the Dynasty Marvels, and trying to finish out my collection there. I'm just missing a couple of them, and they're starting to sink down in price because people are definitely focused on Outsiders, Pro
mm.
Tour. Honestly, my buy list this week is just like buying more time to test for Pro Tour too, because like I don't have enough time in the day.
You can find
I
more
still don't
time.
know what,
Yeah.
dude. I don't know what deck I'm playing. Um, I just want to meet James White, so I gotta get top 8. So just give me some love, give me some prayers, people, because I'm gonna need it.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good, Nate. Yeah, so that's going to do it. Again, everyone, please like, subscribe, hit the bell. It all helps out. Appreciate you all. Have a good night.
Peace.
Peace.